All right, good morning. I'm Josh. Hey, take my hat off here. Don't want to be rude. No need for hats in the building, right? Okay, so we are live in Clanton this morning, where a mixture of freezing rain and sleet is falling. Here, look, let me show you. So this is our dear friend, Storm Tracker 12, and you can see on the top of the vehicle here, you've got a mixture of freezing rain and sleet is what we're getting right now. The chunks of ice, that is sleet. The things that look and feel like raindrops, it's freezing rain. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, but it's actually glazed up. There's a thick glaze of ice on the brush guard here on the front of the Storm Tracker, and then back over here on our rear view mirrors too. This is all ice, just a glaze of ice now, and that's happening in a lot of places. Prattville now has dropped to 32 degrees, so we have freezing rain falling across a big chunk of Watauga County at this hour. We are stationed, by the way, in Clanton. We are at the Peach Park exit. That's exit 205 off of Interstate 65. Looking back here, this would be 65 northbound goes that way, southbound goes back this way. So we are at the Peach Park exit. When we first pulled over, we had switched over to mainly sleet. Now, just from the way it feels outside, I think a lot of this is a mixture of freezing rain and sleet, getting both at the same time. Now that can be really problematic for the roads. The sleet provides a little bit of a binding substance for the freezing rain to freeze onto, and that's the bridge right over there that carries Alabama Highway 22 and US 31 over Interstate 65. And I'll zoom in a little bit here so you can see it a little better. But that's that bridge right over there. I would anticipate that bridge to become pretty icy here within the next half hour or so. So we are live, by the way, all morning on Today in Alabama. That goes from 4:30 until 7 o'clock. We'll be live. We're going to start here in Clanton. Now, we have the ability with the Storm Tracker 12, we can go mobile. So we may just sort of follow this back south a little bit and see how the bridges and overpasses are doing along 65. But it's still coming down pretty hard up here. Again, that mixture of freezing rain and sleet falling. We have weather instrumentation in here. Let's go check that out, see how we're doing there. All right, the air temperature in Clanton now 29 degrees. I need to get all the gear fired up here before we go live here shortly, but we're at 29 degrees, so that means that all of this is wintry weather. I know this is freezing rain's weird. It looks for all the world like a raindrop, right? But it's not. It's freezing. So when it's a super cooled water droplet. Basically, believe it or not, water can exist in a liquid form even when the temperature is below 32 degrees. Water has to have something to freeze onto. So that air that chills those raindrops down below 32 degrees, there's nothing for it to freeze onto, so it doesn't. But when it hits the ground, all of a sudden there is something for it to freeze onto. When it hits power lines, when it hits bridges and overpasses, when it hits brush guards on storm trackers, it will instantly freeze. And I can tell you, just in the time we've been here, we're really getting a pretty thick glaze now on the roof, on the wrap here on the front of Storm Tracker 12. So, and just looking around the parking lot here too, you'll notice some of the vehicles back here. This 18-wheeler has been here since before we got here, and you can kind of see too the same sort of thing. We even got some icicles forming there, hanging off the vehicle. So, again, a pretty thick glaze of ice just all over everything here. Now the streets themselves, so this is the parking lot of Circle K, again at exit 205. Everything's just wet right now on the actual streets that are in direct contact with the ground. Now the reason for that's pretty straightforward. Remember, it was 65 degrees yesterday, pretty incredible. So the ground is still pretty warm. So the immediate ground itself, we're seeing a lot of melting. It's still pretty wet. See, these puddles are kicking up down here. But off to the side, you can actually see that's sleet right there. So the ground temperature is dropping, and the sleet honestly is going to help with that. The sleet will sort of put all of this on ice a bit. In Clanton, we're a bit fortunate in that the precipitation's going to taper off here within the next 30 minutes. We will not be so lucky back down to the south, by the way. So back down, if you head back down towards Montgomery County and much of South Alabama, this is going to last a lot longer down in that part of the state. So that's where we're going to really see a even more freezing rain over the next half hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. So there you go. So that's where we are right now. Let me broaden the view back out a little bit here so you can see everything a little better. Do a one zoom on that. Now we'll look and see. Should be getting questions and comments here on the old Facebook, YouTube. I'm not going to do this for a ton of time, just because we've got newscasts here ready for at 4:30. Brenda asked, how are the roads in Elmore County? So far, they're all right. They're mainly just wet, but I can tell you, the temperatures are dropping in Coosa and Elmore and Tallapoosa and Autauga and Chilton. It's really just a matter of time till these bridges start freezing up. They're not there yet, thank goodness, but it is just a matter of time at this point until that happens. So if you don't have to be out, don't. This is just it's just sort of nasty weather anyway, quite frankly. Just a lot of, it's not fun to drive in either way. This is pretty cool. I don't know if you can see that. There's some grass down here at the bottom of the hill that is starting to get glazed up pretty heavy there too. Alrighty, so a lot of folks asking about their towns. Look, I'm going to leave a lot of that to Amanda. Amanda is in the office right now. She's going to be able to walk you through where the freezing line is, how it's moving. But I can tell you, freezing rain and sleet are going to cause isolated slick spots on bridges and overpasses essentially everywhere in Alabama. It could happen. It won't happen everywhere, but there's a chance of it everywhere. So I would just treat every bridge and every overpass in the state this morning as if it is icy. What does that mean? Well, you need to slow down. Don't make any sudden movements. Don't slam on the brakes. Just coast across it nice and easy is the secret to the drill here. What about traveling to Birmingham this morning? Jasmine asked. That would be a very bad idea. Don't do that. Roads are even worse north of here. We've heard from the National Weather Service. Roads around Hoover and all of Jefferson County are essentially impassable now due to ice accumulation, especially the bridges and the overpasses. So if you don't have to go, if it's not life or death, don't do it. Ice falling in Valley Grande now. So that's the lay of the land as of 4:15 this morning. So what we'll do too here, I'm going to get in Storm Tracker momentarily and give you a little walkthrough on that. But this is, again, a live perspective. We're coming to you live from Clanton in Storm Tracker 12. We are up and at them early this morning, bringing you all this craziness, all of this ice baby. So, whew, man, it's cold. Don't know that. Turns out, when you have winter weather, it's cold. Good news is, inside this storm tracker, it's 75 degrees. Just the way we like it. You've never been inside Storm Tracker 12? Today's your day. So we'll get all this equipment here fired up. Got all sorts of weather goodies and gizmos here. This is the big one right here, is this radar.
Got the IFB wires and stuff?
I didn't bring anything. No, I meant to bring my iPad or AirPods, but I completely whiffed on that. I apologize. Let's see if we can get radar to pull up here. There you go. So there it is. All right, so you'll notice here, we're in Clanton right there. It's beginning to get lighter in Clanton. But, you know, a lot of this stuff is still, let's switch over to the Montgomery radar. It's going to give you a better idea back in South Alabama. So this stuff right here, most of this is freezing rain and sleet. It's moving east like that. It's a little more showery down south. You'll notice down in Crenshaw County, Bullitt County. Plus, we're not quite at freezing there yet.
Can you have lightning in your phone?
I do have lightning. got everything. Ladies and gentlemen, Ted Hughes. Ted, say good morning to everybody.
Good morning.
Are you still mad at me for dragging you out in this in the middle of the night?
I had to be up anyway.
Yeah. Ted is our morning photographer on Today in Alabama. So this is his jam. So that's radar right now. The freezing line is marching steadily southward. The good news is the precip is marching steadily east. Still, though, I suspect we're going to end up with a pretty substantial accumulation of freezing rain in the area I just circled there. So that would be Prattville, Millbrook, Wetumpka, even north side of Montgomery, Tallahassee, Dadeville, Alexander City, back into Clanton. Pretty rough stuff. Lots and lots of that dreaded freezing rain. And I'll tell you, those of us who work in the weather world, this is about as yucky as it gets. This is the stuff you really don't want. Is that freezing rain. It's just lousy. It glazes everything, makes travel really dangerous, really problematic. So again, there's the map right there. Understand south of there that this will end up being freezing rain later this morning, depending on how far south that freezing line can make it and how long it takes. So that's sort of where we are right now. Is we have a lot to think about and a lot to do. We've got freezing rain and sleet falling this morning. And the moral of the story here is a lot of people are going to ask about their town, their place, their city, all of that jazz. Look, if you don't have to be out in this, don't. This is not any fun. It's not like snow, guys. You're not going to make a snowball. You're not going to have a lot of fun with it. It's just going to be sort of gross. All right, so here's the. This is a website we use called Mezzo West. So that freezing line now down into Elmore County. We've got 31 officially at Clanton. Our instrumentation here has 29. So the cold air kind of draining down. 32 up near Slapout, 32 at Prattville, still 34 at Montgomery Regional Airport. So the freezing line, thankfully, has not made it through Montgomery yet. It's 32 at Selma. Look at Demopolis, 21 degrees. Every bridge in Marengo County right now is probably iced up. Pretty gross. 30 now down at Greenville. So that's freezing rain. 32 at Evergreen. So that's the way you kind of track freezing rain is you look at the radar, you look at the temperature. So again, that freezing line has made it down. We'll just very rough guess here. It's something like that. So everything back here, this is all freezing rain. Out ahead of it still rain. So that's where we are. All right, gang, it is now getting pretty close to time to go. I'll be on TV now, starting in about 10 minutes. So join me there. We've got WSFA 12 News Today in Alabama, running from 4:30 to 7. So Amanda is going to be tracking the freezing line, tell you what's happening where you live. I'll be out in the field giving you these reports, letting you know what we're hearing and seeing up here in the Clanton area. So as always, we appreciate you hanging out with us this morning. I'll do additional Facebook Lives throughout the morning just to update you. And of course, you can watch us on Today in Alabama. Woo! There's the TV bright lights. You can watch us on Today in Alabama from 4:30 till 7.